I have a special guest here, a really old friend. He and I worked back in Chicago newspapers back in the 90s, which sounds like the 1990s. Mike Reilley, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Yeah, Mike, you're in Chicago where it's baseball weather. Mike's an SPJ digital trainer. Now, SPJ, for the uninitiated Europeans, is the Society for Professional Journalists, a huge and very important organization. You've taught Google News initiative tools to more than 6,000 journalists and educators over the last 3.5 years. You're a co-founder and trainer in Media Shift Training, founder of Penny Press Digital LLC, consulting and training. When you're not doing all that stuff, you are a full-time faculty member at the University of Illinois, Chicago, where you teach data and multimedia journalism. And just like Nico, this bio goes on and on. But we've only got 45, maybe 50 minutes with Professor Mike Reilley. And I want to give him the floor because he's got loads of great stuff to share with you, Mike.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much, Rob. And thanks for having me. And welcome to everybody here. It's a fabulous conference. I've been listening. You're jumping in and out in between, answering students and things like that. And just a fabulous idea, and so well laid out too and constructed. I'll make this as interactive as possible because you don't want to sit here and look at some talking head for the next 45 minutes. So I'll kind of throw it out to you guys. If you want to use the chat area, I've dropped some resources in there that we'll talk about here in a minute. All kinds of handouts and goodies. I'm also tweeting those resources to the Mojo Workshop hashtag, among many other goodies. But my question to you right now is what's the one app that you cannot live without on your phone? And don't give me like Twitter or Facebook, one of those that we're always kind of using, but maybe for production or what's that one, or productivity, filmmaking, what's that one great app that you just can't live without, that if the App Store took it away tomorrow, you would be absolutely crushed? Just drop that into the chat window. I'm curious to see. Got a couple. This is mostly for my students. The Adobe Suite. VN Video Editor. Yeah, very good, David. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Luma Fusion 2 is a really good one. Filmic Pro. Yeah, God, yeah, it is. It's a great app for filming, editing, voice record. Yeah, got to have good, clean audio. That's a big one. I just had a digital reporting class about that. Double take. That's interesting. I need to take a look at that one. Is that? Yeah, I think that I've seen that one before with the split screen feature in it. That's a cool one. Anybody got any others? Yeah, the front and rear cameras at the same time, so you can drop you in and you can kind of narrate what's shooting out of the front end camera. Okay, yeah, some good apps in there. Well, I'll go ahead and hit share on my screen so you guys can screen. There we go. And you guys should be able to see. Ooh, are you guys able to see my screen?
You are good.
I'm good. Okay. All right. Thanks. I'll just do it tab by tab then as we go. We'll make it work. So yeah, the full screen size for some reason wasn't kicking in. So, all right. Just to get us rolling here. This is the Journalist Toolbox. This is a website that I've updated for the last 26 years. It started in a Northwestern news writing class that I taught that had like 10 links to it that I used to show my students how to pull data off the web and sort it, filter it, and do something with the spreadsheet. It has since evolved into thousands of links on hundreds of pages. Everything for mobile journalism. We have a very robust mobile journalism page. We have mobile reporting apps section, mobile journalism research, and app building tools. So you can go in here and it's just indexed links, tools and resources that are helpful to journalists who are reporting in this area, either covering a topic or using, in this case, apps and tools. We've got training videos built into it. This is kind of an overview of some mobile reporting apps. But we also have individual app trainings in there, VN video editor training. If you're teaching or training young journalists in your newsroom on how to use these tools, pages like this will be very helpful to you. We've got more than 65 training videos up here in the upper right-hand corner. I put these up just on YouTube. They're up for free. It's everything from mobile apps all the way down to using Tableau Public to create a data viz dashboard. So you're looking at everything from 3-minute long video to learn how to use an app to about 15 minutes with some of our more involved resources. So that's a little quick tour of the toolbox. Our First Amendment resources are pretty heavily used. Public records, which includes international public records databases, Freedom of Information Act, Form 990s to pull charitable finance data, crime databases, all kinds of really good stuff in here. We've got a very robust mobile and social section, including scraping tools for social media analytics, tools for building social media graphics and video in here. And a lot of these are ones that'll pop up in our training today. So take advantage of this tool. It's free. I put it up on for free on the web all 26 years. So that's not going to change. You can use this and share it. If you'd like to, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is right up here @JournToolbox. It is all things digital and data journalism I share there. Hang on just a sec. I'm going to have to reshare each of these tabs as I go. So sorry about this. There we go. There's the Journalist Toolbox Twitter @JournToolbox. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. I share all kinds of resources here. Right now, I'm kind of pushing out a lot of the mobile stuff from today. It's got your presentation and your apps list and all those things. But I also retweet a lot of really smart people. We have Twitter chats on here sometimes, and also just a lot of helpful tools and resources to anybody for anybody to share and use. And it's almost all the tools I share are tools that are free. So I'm not charging for anything on it. So that's always good. All right, we'll hop back and I'll take you to another page, another tab here. Hang on just a second. This is our main handout for today. This is the Mojo Workshop Apps list. You can find it at this link, bit.ly/Mojo Tools List. All it is just a hardened Google Doc here where you can just scroll through and look up all the apps I'm going to talk about today. I've got some examples too of how to use some of those apps down at the bottom here. Some of these are produced by journalists, some of them from my students. Just really cool little projects. If you use the photo bubble app Bubbly, let me open that one and show you here. I'll open it up again. So if you want to create photo bubbles in an app called Bubbly that I'll be sharing here in a minute, this is one of the things you can do with it. It's just an app on your phone. You can do this with Google Street View. There's, Fuse, F-Y-U-S-E will do it. I really like Bubbly because you can create really good bubbles. And this guy did a good job. He put his black shoes and black pants on and stood in the black areas. You can't even see his feet down there. So he did a really nice job with this. So these are some of the fun things you can create with Bubbly. We'll get back to that app in just a second. But we have examples in there of all kinds of different tools and things that you can share over social media very quickly. I give my students a series at UIC, a series of assignments where they have to go out and shoot different topics and things like that. We just had a very busy social weekend in Chicago. So, we had the Grateful Dead concert at Wrigley Field. There was a couple protests going on. So, this was really their first chance for freshmen and sophomores to go out and shoot and capture something that wasn't themselves. That we had a no selfie rule. Go out and point your camera at something. We had Mexican Independence Day, several protests on Palestine prisoners, all kinds of really good stuff for them to get out and shoot. They got to choose the apps that they wanted to use. I went over a few of them with them to prepare them, but by and large, they were on their own to build these stories. So this example is a Trello board that I put together with a friend of mine, Victor Hernandez. Victor's right here. He's executive editor of WBUR in Boston. It's a digital radio newsroom. And we put this Trello board together about once a year. And it's all kinds of mobile apps and productivity apps that you can use in reporting. Everything from great places to find equipment under awesome resources, what's in my bag, to multimedia apps. There's a few desktop apps in here, but mostly what we have in here is mobile and social. Victor specializes a lot in apps and tools that work with productivity. I have a few of them I'll share with you today, but he Workbench, rest in peace. But mostly he is the productivity guy in this. Stuff like Miro and Google Jamboard and things like that are a big part of what he does. So those are just some of the little overview tools that I wanted to share with you. Next, I'm just going to jump in to a little presentation and just kind of go through and talk about some different apps. Now, some of these you may have heard of before. Others may be new to you. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what's new and what isn't. And jump in with questions in the chat area and let me know what you think. So let me find my Prezi here. Actually, I got to hop one over. Sorry for these delays. There we go. So I'll hit the presentation button and hopefully you'll be able to still see that. If you can't, just jump on the mic and let me know that you can't.
Yep, you're good.
But you can see it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, once I went into presentation mode that it didn't drop out. It says sharing at the top, but you never, ever know. So this deck is yours to keep along with the list of apps that I gave you on those, just a simple Google Doc. Feel free to download it. It's linked off of your handout. It's linked off of the tweets I'm sending out as well. It's built in a tool called Prezi. I use Prezi, Prezi.com, and beautiful.ai for a lot of my training decks. And sometimes I'm forced to use Google Slides because Google makes us use Google Slides. But I really like Prezi. It's just got a nice little clean interface to it. This is how you access our presentation, the bit.ly/Mojo workshop. And the tools list is bit.ly/Mojo tools list. So that's the two main handouts for. I'm going to talk about different kind of clusters of apps. I kind of group them together in areas that may or may not be of interest to people. But I think it's just kind of a good way to keep it organized. Most of the apps I have listed are free or low cost and available for both iOS and Android. And I'll try and let you know if there's costs involved with any of them. It's always a big deal with students. They don't want to be nickeled and dimed. And all of a sudden, by the end of the semester, they've bought $200 worth of apps on their phone, and it's absolutely crazy. So I try and give them some free options, or at least low cost options that won't run up the tab on them. And it's good too for journalists. I mean, if you're a freelancer, you maybe don't have a huge budget to go out and put a lot of apps on your phone. So there's a lot of options here as well. And always be careful with the apps with upsell. Because a lot of times they'll offer, just a really nice tool for free that works okay, but the upsell is, oh, hey, you want this music, or you want these extra images or extra features? You've got $10 here, $20 there, $15 for storage, and on and on. So I'll kind of talk about upsell a little bit when we play through these. But first, graphics, charts, and mapping tools. Locational tools too, tools that all you have to do is turn on your Wi-Fi and make sure that you're geolocation is working on your phone, and it'll automatically locate things for you. VN Video Editor does a nice job of that when you're putting a video together. It geolocates. You can just tap on there and put the location of where you're at, whatever B-roll you're loading into your video. It's just dynamite. We'll also talk about just layering and single statistic tools where we have a photo and maybe we're just layering a stat over the top of the photo. There's a few simple tools out there for that. One of them I wanted to start with is Chartistic. This is good for very small phone and iPad or tablet, a little bit easier to build with, but it will work on your phone. And you can load in a very small, take a spreadsheet. You can just cut and paste the spreadsheet in there as well. Just key in the numbers yourself. Sometimes, if it's a really small graphic, you can just key it in there. And it'll build simple things, like a little pie chart here. I'm not a big pie chart fan, but bar charts, line charts, things like that. These are static graphics that are not interactive. So when I hover over them, they don't have, pop-ups, but that does give you the legend over here. So, and their trade-off for having the free app is dropping the Chartistic logo in their watermark into any of the graphics. So that's their trade-off. Again, for a quick and dirty on-the-fly graphic that you're trying to put together and attach to a tweet out in the field, this is a good tool for that. If you don't have a laptop, you don't want to go back in the office and put something together in Google Flourish or Data Wrap or some other graphics tool, you can put something together very quickly out here. I've seen reporters do it, when they're doing like a city budget story. They just do a quick breakdown of, the police budget or the fire department budget and drop it in here, and boom, they attach it to their post, and away they go. Another really good one that's a little more versatile, is Icon Graph. It allows you to do charts, maps, really cool little infographics. Again, very quick share to mobile. It'll share to mobile very, very quickly. Let me let's see if I can get the little video to play here for you. These are some of the templates that they have in here. You can do little bar charts and line charts, some single stat tools like this. A lot of different templates that you can load into and just, adjust the text and things like that. You can animate with it. Sometimes I screen record with it when I'm, playing the app through like this in the, and then I've got a little video of it, and I can share it wherever. But it'll do charts, maps. It'll do some static graphics as well. But I really like it as an a nice little graphics tool that you can just kind of do on the fly. So that's Icon Graph, funky little tool. Again, you can do various graphic designs, even posters on it. It's got a little bit of Canva built into it. I'm not a big Canva fan anymore because they're now doing TV commercials. They've lost their cool factor, but they do the charts and maps really, really well in Icon Graph. And it's great on the phone, on your iPad, and you can just kind of do things on the fly there. Photo Mappo is another really cool one. I do a lot of trainings on Google My Maps, which I think is a great desktop, laptop tool. I'm not fond of their phone app. It's just a little clumsy. Photo Mappo, though, has some extra features in it. You can do some different designs with it. Everything from vacation maps, like this guy put together his vacation with these little templates here. Locate the photos on the map for you. So wherever you shot them, it'll drop it in as long as you've got your Wi-Fi turned on. Easy share, it's got the share buttons right at the bottom of it. You can add text over them, choose different, templates for each one of these. Some of them are a little cartoony. This is a guy's vacation graphic or vacation map. But you can do a blank template as well and make it a little more, kind of a clean presentation where you control more of the design with it. Very versatile tool. I like it just a little better than Google My Maps. It's okay. Google My Maps phone app, okay. Photo Mappo, I think you can just do a little more with it. This is another really, really good app. It's made by a company called Tin Rocket. There are many apps that layer text on photos. But this one's really good at like directional arrows and things like that. I had some of my students using it for their projects. You can maybe a recipe and shoot down on the ingredients and then label them, you know. On Netflix with Roy Choi and John Favreau. They do it actually a freeze frame in video, and then they draw the little arrows to each of the ingredients. This is a little flyover over the Cathedral Baseball, Wrigley Field. I live just 2 blocks up this street up to the north of it. This is when they were doing a lot of construction. They actually built a bar underneath the home plate in the pitcher's mound. So you can drink underneath the field and then go upstairs and watch the game. Well, while it was under construction, a helicopter pilot at Reilley area shot this a lot of stuff with me and vice versa. So I told him, I go, you know, can I use this aerial shot? He showed what you dugouts are going in the park at Reilley, hotels at. This used to be a McDonald's over here. This used to be a little donut shop that all the elderly people went and ate in. My car wash used to be right here. It's now where the cup. And over here, they built a really big Lucky Strike bowling alley and a movie theater that still hasn't opened because of COVID. So, but we were able to label, you know, all the things like the marquee out front and things like that, you know, I just didn't have time to do it on, you know, load the photo, move it over to my laptop, pull it into Illustrator, pull it into Photoshop and layer it out. Here you can just tap on the photo on your phone, pick your font, pick your type of directional arrow. It's got several different types. You can pick the colors of them too. It's got the arrow. It's got the pinpoint head, all the different types of labeling that you can do with it. Really good for labeling images. And, you know, if you've got to put, you know, text on images, I'm not a huge fan of that, but if you have to, you want to do it right. You want to do it with a very clean font that people can read. And this tool offers that. Another one that's along the same, I've used this one a couple of times, called Point Out. And it has little directional arrows. Again, they're kind of cartoony here. It's got the hand and things like that. But the feature I kind of like is the magnifying glass, where you can actually drop the little magnifying glass in and it'll focus on a certain part of the photo and blur out other areas. So if you're really trying to show one little thing, you know, this works for feature photography or even for news photography as well. Could be very helpful to you on certain types of stories. So I just wanted to point out that there was another one out on the market with Point Out, and I'm sure there's many others. Over is an oldie but a goodie. This one's been around for about a decade. Really easy to layer text over a photo. You just load the photo into it, tap on it, pick your fonts. Do not pick Comic Sans. It is the source of all evil. Pick the color of your text, the size of it. You know, it's really good for like a single data point that you want to put on a layer over a photo. You know, we had Lori Lightfoot was doing a press conference the other day. Go snap a quick picture of her, our mayor here in Chicago. Snap a picture of her, tap it, and then layer the one statistic that, you know, she was talking in the press conference about how she wanted to have 75% of residents in the city over the age of 12 vaccinated for COVID by the end of the year. We're at about 62.5 right now. So wishful thinking, but it's a nice goal. You could just layer that little statistic in the readout text right on that photo. And, you know, makes the podium shot, you know, a little cooler when you have that graphic attached to it. Over is a good tool for that. Adobe Spark Post does it. Canva. Here's another really cool one. There's a lot of different effects, you know, photo effects tools. I started playing around with this one this summer and had some fun with it. It's called Effect, E-F-E-C-K-T. It's good for photo illustrations, and be careful, you know, journalistically with ethics on this, because you can get in a lot of trouble playing around with news photos. But, you know, if you're doing something like, you know, showing the new baseball pitcher on the team, how, you know, his motion works with pitching the ball, like you kind of see with the dancer here on the left, you know, that's a pretty cool effect. Or you're trying to go, you know, just for some odd image, maybe with a fashion photo or something like that. And layer out the photo once you load it in. But again, you know, if you're working with hard news photography, just be careful with it, because you know, sometimes I run into that with young students. You know, they start throwing effects on a news photograph from a pro. wait a minute here, what are we doing? Are we distorting the truth, or are we, finding a way to kind of advance the storytelling? Glide Apps is a fun little tool. I need a free account on it. Has all the features I need. This is a mobile web app using nothing more than a spread. You can do mapping with it. At the end, when you go to publish it, it generates a link that you can save to your home screen and share. And it looks, just like an app straight out of the App Store. This is one I did of the SPJ Fellows of the Society. It was a spreadsheet that had their name and year they were inducted, their bio, and their photo. And I just loaded this in here. And the tools over here on the right-hand side are pretty easy to use. Just kind of click around on them and decide, how you want your layout to look, choose your colors. It's absolutely fantastic. You can also do custom URLs with it, even in the free version. And create, like, if I wanted to do like a bit.ly/SPJ Fellows, I could do that. I could do a shortened link that's really simple for people to find, and then share that. Again, you're not going through the App Store. You're just creating a mobile web app with it. So glideapps.com. I had insomnia in the early days of the pandemic. So I'd keep waking up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And one night I'm going to teach myself how to use really cool little mapping feature in it too. So, maybe if you've want to map, create a little web app of all the vaccination centers in your community. Do that. All you need is a spreadsheet with the addresses and locations of them. And you can adjust the pinpoints, anything you want on them, and you can tap right on the little map, and up pops the information about that location, which is really cool. Very, very clean interface to use. Glide Apps. I recommend it if you want to build web-based apps. Let's talk video. And I know when I asked you guys about your favorite apps, I saw VN pop up and Luma Touch. My students love VN Video Editor. A few of them bought Luma this semester, but boy, VN really has been a big hit because it's priced right. It's free. Luma Touch, Rob uses this quite a bit on his videos. It's probably the next best thing to using Adobe Premiere. Some even think it's better. You can layer in your video, your effects. You can edit audio waveforms, which VN Video Editor has just added too. You can edit the audio waveforms on now, which is really nice. It's a great interface. It's very highly regarded, among the Mojo community. And it does come with a price. It's $30, but I think it's money well spent. I've used it a few times, and we've got a new building going up next to my condo. And they tore down, it used to be John Dillinger's old pool hall. The gangsters used to hang out there. They tore down this old building, and I've been shooting it, as the new building goes up. And it's kind of been fun to watch. I've been editing it both in Luma and in VN Video Editor to really watch this play out. This is VN, really intuitive. I demoed it for my students the other day, and they picked up on it right away. It's now available iOS and Android. It's got a lot of free music built into it, a good text layer templates. It's got the nice little geolocation feature in it where I can pick, my building's right next to the Chicago Transit Authority train line, right next to the Sheridan Red Line train stop. So I can go into the video and select that out of the little text button here. And as long as my Wi-Fi is on, it'll geolocate me right there. So I can add in a little, instead of text here, it'll say CTA pinpoint Sheridan. So it'll geolocate where I'm at in the video, which is really, really cool. It's watermark free. You can do keyframe animations in it. Just edit as you go. It's easy to add your transitions. Just hit the little plus sign, add in a cross dissolve or whatever you want to feature. I do a lot of jump cuts and cross dissolves with my work. And it now allows you to edit the waveform too. This is an older screen grab of it, but the music up here at the top, you also can layer, your own narration over the top of it, which is really nice too. So easy export. It'll download to your camera roll. You also can share it directly into Vimeo. They've got a relationship with Vimeo now. And they also have a storage on VN Video Editor, which I've never used that feature. I've always dropped it to my camera roll, moved it to YouTube, or posted it wherever it needed to go. But that's VN. Videoscribe is one that's a lot of fun. This one's actually a desktop tool. It is usable on your tablets, though. You can call up the web page and make it work. It's great for creating whiteboard videos, little cartoon animations. And I've had students doing a lot of these. I do some promos with Journalist Toolbox on it. It runs about $140 one-time fee. But I'll tell you, it's worth it. It's made by a company called Sparkle, which I believe is UK based. They're really, really good company. They've got training videos built into it. Intuitive. I was self-taught until I discovered the the training videos. I'm like, whoa, I actually kind of figured this stuff out on my own. You can share very quickly and directly to your YouTube channel or social channels out of it. If we have time a little later, I might show you a couple of examples of what you can do with it. It's good for showing processes. If you want to show a process like, mail-in voting process. We had that. That was a big story in the election last year in the United States. How do people do mail-in voting? Or the process of how something is built or made, and you want to be able to use little animations rather than, and you can import video and things like that to it as well. The Adobe apps, I won't spend a lot of time on. Most of you probably already have them. We've really started getting into using Adobe Spark Page more, Tumblr-like photo essays lately. Students are shooting really good photos. They have better cameras on their phones, so they're getting better photos. And they like to do Spark Page because the photos play out pretty big. Spark Video has been a long time favorite of theirs too. Good for creating social media videos. The suite runs, it's right around $9.95 right now, but it often dips down under $5. So if you don't have it yet, kind of wait for the price to drop. It drops every few weeks. And I got mine for like $3.99, years ago. But I'm a big fan of the Adobe apps as well as their other desktop tools. But their mobile apps are pretty good. This is a fun one. I have a friend who's a skydiving instructor. She likes to jump out of airplanes, and on her little helmet, she's got a GoPro camera. This also just works with your phone app. It's called Vedometer, and it layers data over video. It could be, speed, elevation, whatever. Location, it'll layer a map over it. So if you turn on your Wi-Fi, it'll geolocate you, which is kind of cool. The example they have on here is this guy, who's riding a motorcycle, and it's tracking, just layers it right in. The other thing that'll track your altitude as well as your heart rate. So if you have the health app on your phone, when you're jumping out of that airplane, it'll measure, what altitude you're at, how fast you're hurtling toward Earth, and how fast your heart's going at the time. It's got pretty good steady cam in it. It'll sync up with your GoPro, or in some cases you can just put it on the handlebars of your bike, with the phone, just mount it on, mount the phone somewhere. And it'll do it as well. And I've done a couple of them just, where I've been walking around and wanted to geolocate where I'm at, layered the map over the top of it. And it's quite nice. Very easy to use. You just pick what template you want, load the video into it, and it's done. It's App Store only right now. You can check added it, but last I checked, they had not. This is an iOS only app, unfortunately. A few fun 360 apps here I'll talk about very quickly. One of them I already showed you an example. It's called Bubbly, Bubbli. This is iOS only. All you do is take your phone and you paint up and down with it. Practice with it a few times before you go and use it on an assignment. You'll get good at it very, very quickly, and you just paint up and down. It gives you a percentage across the top of the screen and tells you how much of the area you painted. Once it gets up around 98, 99%, you can stop. You hit one button all together, and when it's done, it'll email you, but it's usually about 4 or 5 minutes, a link and an embed code for this stitched photo bubble. And the example I showed you earlier was pretty darn good. It's very sharp, and it doesn't have a lot of blurred spots or anything like that. One thing you should always remember when you're shooting these 360s, your peripheral vision. If there's nothing interesting behind your peripheral vision, shoot a panorama or a regular photo. Don't shoot a 360. Other thing with 360 is make sure you've painted the whole area. Otherwise, you're going to have little fuzzy spots in it. And also make sure people aren't walking or cars driving through the scene because it'll cut them off. It'll either, cut the people in half or cut the cars in half. So you kind of need a stable area to get that good 360. I mean, there's, Ricoh Theta, has great 360 cameras. There's many others far advanced. But if you just have, you're out with your phone one day and boom, you walk into something that, hey, this is a great 360. This is a good tool to do it. Did a training out in Northern California. This is when we had all the wildfires out there. Well, they haven't again, I guess, but out in 2019. And one of the reporters went out with a photographer, and they were on this hillside, and all around them was scorched earth. I mean, it looked like hell on earth. And they shot this beautiful little 360 with Bubbly on their phone, shared it right away, and said, hey, they used it as a little teaser. Hey, our story's coming out. We'll have more photos for you from this area that was just ravaged outside of, I think it was San Francisco. It wasn't San Mateo, I think it was, that got hit so bad. Somewhere up in wine country. Google Street View, of course. I really like this one because when you share the Street Views publicly, they become searchable. And boy, I'll tell you, I've shared all kinds of different street views on there, and I get thousands upon thousands of views on them. Even the most obscure things. I shot the park at Reilley outside of Wrigley Field one day right after it opened. The next morning I opened the image back up after I had made it public the night before, 30,000 views on it. And it works a little differently than Bubbly. You're just shooting targets at dots on a screen, and it stitches the photos together. You'll typically do a pirouette and shoot about 30 photos at once, and it'll stitch them all together, anywhere from 30 to 40. Google Street View. Fuse is another good 360 one that you can shoot outward with, but I like to use it to shoot inward. Fuse allows you to do 360s around a stationary object. We use this at the Chicago Auto Show. It's good at art galleries. If there's a statue or a 360 piece of art, you can walk around it with your phone and shoot inward. So you're moving around the object. If you have a gimbal or a good, handheld, maybe a pistol grip with your phone, you can shoot and move around it. The other nice thing with Fuse is it also has tons of examples built into it, so you can see how to use it. So you can use it facing outward like Bubbly or Google Street View, but I like it because it works a little differently. You can shoot inward with it, and it gives you that full 360 effect. It's really, really cool. I've had some students build some really, really cool stuff with it. Google Earth Time Lapse, I just wanted to mention, it's been updated since last spring. Earth Engine /time lapse. And this tool shows 37 years of satellite imagery over the Earth's surface. You can actually work on this in a tablet. It's good for if you want to show how a city has grown over those 37 years, you can see how it's grown. It's good for environment stories, wildfires, flood, agriculture stories as well. You can see crop patterns change. Again, that's a desktop tool. So that's all I had for the slideshow. If we want, we've got a few minutes here, about 5 more minutes, I think. Is there any questions that you guys had? Just jump back into the chat area and fire away. Nope, I can't hear. I'm not hearing anybody. You can jump into chat too if you want to.
Well, that's unfortunate. You can't hear me at all, huh?
Oh, no, I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah, just cut out. It's weird to cut out.
Do you remember an app called, I think it was Panorama 360 or 360?
Oh, yeah.
By
Pano 360 it was called.
Pano 360. That app Bubbly looks exactly in the way you described it, like that app. I was showing that in Mojo conferences all over Eastern Europe.
Pano went away. It went away for
it disappeared. It never got updated.
Yeah, it's crazy. And for those of you who are on the Google Play Store, try BUBL, Bubble. I'll type it in the chat for you.
I'm going to get our next speakers queued up. Give me a second.
Okay, cool.
Guys, interact with Mike on the chat. That's just really great stuff.
Yeah. Bubble will get you a similar effect. It's come in and out of the Google Play Store a few times, so keep an eye out for it. Does anybody know the background of VN Video Editor Origin and why it's completely free? It is a mystery, like Rob said. Yeah, I've even tried to reach out to them because I wanted to do a little newsletter post on the tool. I went ahead and wrote it without them, but I didn't hear anything back. But I don't think, they're gathering anything about it. I see the day where they're probably going to switch it to a paid service because they now realize what they have. They've done that before. They've built these tools. Ripple did this, RIPL. It was free. It had all these cool templates. You could create these little slideshows and have moving text with it. Really easy for social. And then all of a sudden, $7.99 for all the templates now. Oh man, so I see that day coming where they're going to drop that hammer on us.
Yeah, or it gets bought by GoPro.
Yeah,
the Replay app was a great app, and then I was teaching with it for years, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you get maybe 18-month window where you can still teach with it.
And remember Storify, a wonderful tool. Livefire bought it.
Beautiful. In fact, I used it to illustrate my first book in 2014. And then all of a sudden I had to get it out of their archive and then show people how I did 10 different types of stories walking through a consumer electronics show with just my phone and using Storify. They come and go, but the techniques stay. And that's really challenging for teachers because, we were talking, Barbara, here in the chat about, Bobly or VN video editors. Like, does anybody even know who owns it? I've tried to find out. Not very hard. I mean, I used to work.
I wrote to them. No response.
I got the black hole too, which is creepy. I've seen 2 different addresses for them. I've seen 2 different names of owners. I'm not sure who actually owns it and what their evil plan to rule the world is one day. But I have to teach with it because, like you, I teach in media development. I teach with students, and there's no budget to buy apps. Okay. Yeah. Universities have budget to buy $15,000 cameras, but they can't spend $20 on whatever. I digress, right? It's like really good training wheels, a good basic training that does just about everything you need. But like you could see, Dave instantly graduated to LumaFusion once he got comfortable with the form. So the tools become they sometimes come and go, right? But how to use them becomes transferable knowledge. And it's really interesting to hear you say you have so many tools that students are using. They're using Tumblr. Is that still a thing?
Yeah. Actually, they're not using Tumblr. The Adobe Spark page does Tumblr-like photo.
Tumblr-like. Okay.
Yeah. Got it. We haven't used. Actually,
I'm the old guy here, so forgive me. I'm sorry. I remember the early internet. So Tumblr, and you remember, Snapchat, and I don't know, the Vines. Things come and go.
We have a tech graveyard, Meerkat. Victor and I do a tech. Remember that? It was a great tool, great streaming tool. But they just we have a tech graveyard that Victor and I keep track of all the great tools.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Just one day went poof, and it's somewhere in that Trello board. You'll be able to find it that I shared with you guys earlier. But we have the tech graveyard, and Meerkat's in there. Vine is in there. A bunch of other really cool ones. Peach was nice for about a week and long gone forever. But this has been fabulous, guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. My handout has my email and my Twitter handle on it. Reach out to me at any time.
Okay. Any other questions for you've kind of answered them all with your handouts there. What's the app did you say that you couldn't live without?
Probably couldn't live without. I would probably say Luma in VN Video Editor now. My audio recording apps. Those are such a big part of what I teach with. So those are some of mine. VN Video Editor, the Adobe Suite, I still use quite a bit too. Both the editing apps and the multimedia tools.
What's really interesting is have you played with any of the iOS 15 new features? And for me, just the fact that if you've got a screen grab or if you've got a photo, that has text in it, look at this. This is okay. So this is really cool. Here, this will be interesting. I didn't even try this one. This is the menu in Hungarian.
It'll translate.
You can just long press on it and you can edit it. You can get the information out of it. And it'll select the text. You can copy and paste and put it in notes, put it in an email. I'm like, Now, okay, it always had this in the notes feature. If you used for document scanning, it'll make perfect scans. So they've just now put it into the Photos app. So it's not like a new magic trick. It's just a trick from somewhere else in their toolkit that could be really useful for mobile journalists, because now you can just select that text. And you look at, if you do the info on it now, look what you get. You get, I'm not sure you're seeing it, but if you tap on the info, it's not showing on the here, but you'll now get the geolocation, you'll get the camera, all of the shutter speed, everything about it, what date, time, all the metadata, it just comes up on a panel, and that did not show in that view. So let me come into this view and show you what I'm talking about. If you tack on the I button, you see there now, you can see where this was. This was on the T-Honey on August 28th.
Cool.
Yeah.
Google Pinpoint will extract text like that too out of photos, out of PDFs, photos, all kinds of stuff.
But now look, I just this wine bottle, and now I can just copy paste it.
Copy and paste it. Yeah. Text. To do it on your phone or your tablet.
Just with a long press and a touch. Isn't that cool? Hey, Neil.
That's awesome.
So definitely check out some of the new features and when I'm looking at iOS 15, I'll probably post that and a couple other things, just because there are a couple things that really jumped out, and to be able to get data too, because I teach reporters how to use their phone, always be documenting. This just adds more layers. Now it's easy to copy and paste that and put that into the searchable text of your tweet or whatever, your Tumblr-like page. Really cool new iOS 15 feature. I don't have any others to share. That one just really stopped me in my tracks, because it works with old photos. It doesn't have to be a photo that was taken since iOS 15 came out. It's totally backwards compatible. I opened up a picture from 6 years ago and it worked.
It's amazing.
Couldn't believe it.
Wow. Yeah. That's a long download, but it's well worth it. I find my iPhone improvements are good too with it. Even if the phone's completely shut off, it'll still track, which is really nice, because that's been, and people, we have a problem here in Chicago. Your car gets carjacked. They take your phone too, and they shut the phone off. They keep the phone because they want to wipe it and sell it later. And that's one of the things now that you can continue to track the phone and even the car, even though the iPhone is completely shut down. They don't destroy the phones when they steal them from you, but you can track them now, even when it's shut down. That's the one that really jumped out at me, because that's been an issue here in Chicago. So, but thank you guys. This has been fabulous. All those handouts I've dropped into the chat window. I'm also tweeting them out to everybody over our Mojo Workshop hashtag. And for the past hour, I've been sharing all kinds of different tools and training videos and things like that. So feel free to share those. Follow me back on Twitter, and we'll definitely stay in touch beyond just today. So have a fabulous rest of your Friday. And Rob, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
This is totally my pleasure, man, to bring you in.
Yeah.
And have this moment. So thanks. We'll do it again for sure.
All right.
We got
awesome. We'll see you guys. Thanks.